Okay, my friends, this should be a trip. If I could show you a human footprint that was pushed down during the Triassic period, and all of the layers of the Triassic period were wet at the same time, they say it took 50.66 million years to lay down the layers of the Triassic. What if I showed you they were all wet at the same time and a human footprint pushed down through those layers? Because that's what I am about to show you. And this guy was running like crazy. These are what I'm going to refer to as suck-ups. Look at those little dimples. You see those little dimples all over? But when you get to the edge, you don't see them anymore because the center part is wedged and has to come up and pull away from. This was all wet at the same time. Now, what happened here, I'm going to explain later what I believe the reason this guy was still alive and able to run out over the top of this catastrophic debris, which was the red bed, the gray clay, and then the black cap on top. He ran out between the time of the red bed, the gray clay. The black cap came on top. So he was probably hidden in some cave somewhere and came running out and ran over the top of this while it was still wet to try to get somewhere for some water, for food, or whatever. But that's your heel. That is exactly where your heel would hit. Boom, and then you would come forward like this. I've checked this very carefully. It's a right foot, and you come forward. There's a piece that sticks out on your foot that would do this if he was going this way, which he was. These are the balls of the feet, literally the balls of the feet. That is literally the heel. You see this? You couldn't have it any clearer than this. And it's pushed down through the layers of the Triassic period, which was supposed to take 50 million years, something like that. This is just, a lot of things got to be changed. We got to look back to our real, true history. So if you think you're a geologist, or a historian, or an archaeologist, and an anthropologist, any of that ist, let's discuss this. I'm going to show you something that's going to be very, 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 very hard to dismiss. And that's the case right now. Every university has dismissed this and refuses to discuss it. That's very distressing when our educators refuse to do their jobs. I mean, everybody now is refusing to do their jobs. Nobody cares about the truth anymore. That's what I see. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so. Okay, my friends, this is just over the top, crazy, insane, and true. I discovered mud fossils, and I have such a collection of them. It's just unbelievable. And they're just laying around. This is not something I really had to work hard to do. My buddy Caesar and I have been working on this for 12 years now. Caesar's feathers are still in pretty good shape. Everything I have is flat on one side from the Great Flood. This is a foot from some kind of oddball creature, has no toes, they're built inside. This is a footprint in Triassic rock. I'm about to show you this. All right, and I'm going to explain to you, and these are the actual balls of the feet of the footprint that hit. And maybe it was something about, this is about the right size, and that is a foot. This is a complete foot. All right, that's a footprint. This is the whole guy's foot. Now, so what are we going to do? We're going to look at this, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is one small step for humankind and one giant leap for the human mind. Oh, my friends, my friends, my friends, this is going to be, I'm telling you, it just gets crazier and crazier every day. Now, I reported on this a long time ago, but, nobody ever listened. So we're going to go back to it again. Well, what is the Triassic period? What does even Triassic mean? Well, it was named in 1834 by Frederick van Alberti from 3 distinct layers. Well, what are they? Tri means 3. A black cap with a gray clay or brown clay in the middle and a red bed. That is what is the Triassic. 3 layers, and here it is right here. Red beds, See the red bed? Capped by chalk, which is chalk, brown, gray, light colored, followed by black shales. Well, what is those three layers? They say it took 50.6 million years to lay down these three layers. I say it took like a day or so. I'm telling you right now, and I can prove it. I'm not just guessing. These three layers, I have a footprint right here. I'm going to show you this footprint right now that is in the flesh layer from the flood. Now, we have to talk about the flood because this is all flood related. And that was a hot, boiling water flood because we almost got impacted by Venus. It caused several events. One was, as it approached us, it boiled all the waters. The people jumped in the lakes and everything to try to stay alive, and they actually literally boiled. And it boiled the flesh from their solid parts, and that's what created the red bed, is the fleshy mud. It's literally clay from the bodies of creatures that boiled off. Now, what happened next? Your fleshy marly stuff, which is this clay, settled down because you have a flood. All right, so everything's mixed up in the ocean. The first stuff is the red bloody flesh came down to the bottom as mud. Above that came this brown layer, and I'll show you, I've got them right here. And then above that was the black cap, which is this right here. So they say 56 million years. I say, how did a footprint from a human being get down below into the red bloody fleshy area if it took 56 million years? He stepped on that gray clay when it was wet, and his footprint went in wet, and he pushed that wet footprint down into the red bed. That means all these three events happened at the same time. Well, the black cap came afterwards, because here's what happened. It boiled all the creatures, their body parts just disassociated. You got lungs that came completely out of the bodies, all kinds of things like that. Organs pretty much were parboiled, and they separated along their fascia. Now, there's a footprint in this, though. I'm going to show you that right now. And that footprint could have only happened when this was wet and this was wet at the same time. Not 56 million years apart. This was wet, this was wet. It pushed the brown down into the red. You're going to see it. And then the black came down, because that's when all the fire and everything, all stuff rained down on Earth after the flood. You ended up, because it also burnt the atmosphere, because it collided with our atmosphere, set everything ablaze, volcanoes, all kinds of things going on. That's the black cap, and that's it right there. So let's disassemble this, and I will show you this footprint in great detail. You're going to have to spend a little time. We're going to look at everything very carefully, and you will see a footprint wedged down into the lowest layer of the Triassic, which is the red bed. All right, we go from the bottom up or from the top down? We're going to go from the top down. So we're starting with the black shale cap. And here it is right here. You see that? I hope you can see these things. I'm going to focus this up a little closer. That is the black cap. All right, they call it black cap. Now, let's take this away and see what we have underneath. There's the black cap. And that is the imprint of a footprint of a human being, and I will show you how it sits down here. Not only that, I have the outlying part of it. This footprint was stepped on, and I will show you very carefully what it is. This is the red bed. All right, that was the red bed. On top of that was the gray clay, which is this footprint, and it was pushed down into this red bed. You see right here, this is the gray clay. That's the gray clay, which is the chalk. And it was pushed down into the red bed. The only possible way that could possibly happen is if they were both wet at the same time. Now, can I prove or show that pretty substantially that this is a human footprint? Yes, I can. All right, so let's take a look at it carefully. Don't forget, this is it. That's it together. Hold on, let me back out of here. That's the footprint pushed down through the red bed. This is where the toes are, right up in here. This is literally the balls of the feet. I'm telling you. Right now, not only that, can I prove it was wet when all this happened? Absolutely I can. How? Suck-ups. You say, what is a suck-up? A suck-up means this guy was running like crazy because the red bed was there wet. The gray clay was on top. He squished all that gray clay down through the red bed to the bottom. And at the same time, he went, and the outside edges are flat, and the inside edges have suck-ups. And we're going to put it in a microscope, and you'll see what a suck-up is. But this was his heel. He hit like that, and he came up like this. He was running, and he was probably running like hell, trying to get out of this disaster, whatever the disaster was going on. Now, we got to put a little water on here so we can see the separation. But you can see right here, that's gray clay. You see it? Again, we're going to put it under the microscope. And then these are the little dimples that were, over here you don't have them. On the edges they're flattened out because you don't have that suction layer. This was wet, that's why you got these suck-ups. All right, and on the side it was a red bed. On the bottom, obviously you can see it's the gray clay. You see the difference? Now, you look at this difference right here. This is where it goes from the gray clay and the red bed. I mean, it's a very distinct line. It's not hard to see that at all. You see it? So his foot pushed this gray clay down through the red bed that was up here. And this is very, very red, and was the bed that thing laid on. All right, so, is this a human footprint? Yes, it is. Let's see if we can highlight it with some shadowing. I'm going to turn this off. All right, now, let's twist this up a little bit here. All right, let's see if I can make this. Like I said, this is literally the balls of the feet. These two spots. These are where the toes come down. And this again is these suck-ups. All right, so this is a Triassic event. Now let's look at this in the microscope, and I will show you the distinct layers, and I will show you the suck-ups and so forth. So let's get the microscope cooked up here and get ready to go. All right, what we're going to be looking at is these little dimply looking areas here. You see those little dimples? And then how there's almost none on the edge, because when he hit here, everything was wet. And it's slimy. You can see it's almost like a gooey slime. He hit here and he went just like that. And these sucked up, so they pulled up. These did not around the edge. Then we're going to look at this, which is the gray clay, which is right underneath this very slippery layer. And then we're going to see the separation between the layers. All right, so let me set it up. Here we go. And of course, this is the 3 layers. All right, the black, when it landed, worked its way down into where that foot had been before. All right, see, here's the black cap right here. And that is exactly what a footprint looks like from above, or stepping down. Boom. It created, his foot created all of this, and he kept on going, and then the black soot and all the volcanic eruption stuff landed on top and created the black cap. And it did it worldwide. This is not just here or there. It was worldwide. So this was the flood. And as far as I'm concerned, I've got timelines on this to do not even come close to anything that anybody else is talking about. It's exactly what Velikovsky was talking about. The rest of the world had no clue whatsoever. All right, this is, I put my foot in this and it's almost fits perfect. Almost exactly. So, it's about the size of a human being now. I'm like 5'10" and a half or so. And it's about my size. And again, these are the balls of the feet. I mean, literally, it's exactly identical. All right, this is a right foot. Now, this guy was running, okay, so he's pushing back this way as he's going forward. There's his heel, it hit right there. This, if you feel under your own right foot, big toe, you're going to feel there's a piece coming out the side. If you're going forward, it's going to push this back the way it did. And the same thing up here, it's going to push this back just the way it did your big toe. And these are, again, the balls of your feet. And these are actually the little tendons that run down. If you can see them, I mean, this is so perfect, absolutely flawless. And he went forward like this. And this is on all three layers are here in one little pile, including the edge, which is the red bed. Right, here's the footprint in the microscope. The microscope is looking down right around this area here, which is where they're going to be most suck-ups. Well, you don't see anything at all there. You say, well, Roger, you're crazy. What are you trying to show me? There's nothing there. It's like a dirty little spot. Well, this is the reason you need to put water on things. Watch what happens. I'm going to put a little water on it. You see what happens? Look. Now I can see. These are the suck-ups. There was like a slimy layer, and when he put his foot on there, it pulled up this slimy layer in these little balls with holes. Now, I'm going to move this over to the edge, and you'll see these flatten out. You see how they're sort of high up? Over the edge, they're going to turn nice and flat. You see right over here, they're very flat now. They're not the suck up anymore, and we're going to go right over the edge, which is going to be right here. You see right at the edge, they just stop. No more suck ups. And then this is over the edge, going down into the red bed. So let's see what it looks like going over the edge. So don't forget, that would have been a suck up if it was in the middle. Now it's just sort of flat because there's no pull to it. The other one is the watery and air would pull against it. Now, so what are we doing now? This is the edge. Let me get the little pointer here. This right here is the edge. You see it? Hold on. Hold on. Here we go. Again, no suck-ups out here. Let me dry this up a little bit because sometimes it gets flashy. You really can't see it all that well. Alright, so here's our suck-ups no longer are swished up. You see how they're really swishy here? Really sucked up here? Suck up, suck up, suck up. And then right at the edge, nothing. It's because there's it's not glued to it basically out here. That comes off anyway, if you understand the dynamics of it. This is the red bed. And what that consists of is creatures' bodies all boiled off. Yeah. Okay, my allegation here is that none of this stuff is true about these timelines. Look here, and listen to what they say. Listen to this. A geological period spans 50.6 million years. Is this Triassic? 50.6 million. The end of the period 251.902 million years ago. 251.902 and 37 seconds. To the beginning of the Jurassic period, 201.36 million years. Damn, it is totally lost. The Triassic happened in like 15 minutes. It was the impact of Venus. Of caused this giant, terrible hot water flood. And it created all the mud fossils. I understand this thing quite well. I'd love to discuss this with somebody that can just stand behind these facts and figures. They're meaningless now.